I don't think they'd actually played. It was just more of an idea at that point.
Yep, 30 minutes, right?
Yeah. I booked their first tour, I believe, and I think Ruben might have booked their second tour, which I think I went on that one as well. So either one of those turned out very good, other than just having a good time driving around being broke. But those guys are so animated that, you know, even if you're broke, you're having a good time.
So let's see. So what were those tours like? I mean, like,
I just remember sitting in the van a lot, waiting for a show, and then a show would happen, and there wouldn't really be anybody there. You know, typical first tour kind of crap.
Or fifth tour, depending.
Yeah.
Sorry. And you were already touring at that time.
Yeah, but not for very long.
Yeah.
Like maybe a couple of years. I mean, our Unwound's tours weren't very good either at that point. So I think we'd only had a couple of 7 inches out. We were doing, like, we have good shows on the West Coast, like good shows like, you know, fun house parties. Those kind of good shows. But yeah, those, you know, they had those too. I just, you know, I remember on one of the tours we were in Pomona or Claremont or something playing in this coffee house. And Jared had Scotty had these cymbals that were just like, he had a pile of cymbals like on one stand that were just, they're all broken and crappy, and there's like little shards of whatever brass or whatever they use for cymbals sticking out. And like Jared had like fallen into the drum set and like cut his hand open really bad, like not bad enough to like go to the hospital or anything, but he was bleeding all over the place. So I played Blue Blood on the last song, and Jared just sang, just rolling around the floor and throwing blood everywhere. That was a good show.
What bands did you guys play with on that first tour?
Oh shit, I don't even remember at this point. I have no clue. I think that show was actually with Man as a Bastard. So it seemed like we always played with Man as a Bastard in Claremont or Pomona. What about that Jared?
Oh yeah, story? Okay. So right. So the bass story is that somebody, I don't know who, maybe he said, maybe he didn't, told him, like, you know, he wasn't playing anything, but he wanted to be a band, and they were like, you know, they were older, upperclassmen to him, and so I got this idea that he's kind of like looking up to them a little bit, you know, and they were like, he was like this young guy, and they were like, we need a bass player in our band, you know, you should buy bass, and you should come play bass in our band. And he's like, okay, that sounds like a great idea, you know, these older guys are asking me to jam with them, that sounds sweet. So he goes and like gets the money from his like parents, from his mom, and then they had one practice, and then they were like, okay, you know, we'll call you or whatever, and they somehow got him to leave the bass there. And then they were like, because they actually were intending for someone else to use it, and then he was like, say that was you.
Oh. Really?
Do you remember that?
I don't remember that at all.
I had that transcript printed out. I have that that interview typed out.
I can't imagine who that would have been unless it was Justin and Brant. Could have been. But I've always had my own bass, so.
He said it took like a year to get it back. I don't know. I'll have to. When I find that transcript, I'll email it to you. So.
Okay. I don't recall that. So.
I have another story that suddenly came to mind, and it was I heard from somebody that karp wasn't very good when they started out. They kind of butt rock and just, I don't know, didn't sound that good, like most bands. But I heard they used to tempt people to come to the shows with donuts. They used to put out.
That would, yeah. Then it wouldn't surprise me if they tempted people to come to their shows with donuts. I mean, we did all kinds of stupid shit like that. Like one of Justin's bands would, you know, inevitably would have a food fight, you know, with hot dogs or donuts or I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't remember that specifically because I went to all their shows anyway.
You didn't have to be tempted with donuts.
No, I was already full of donuts probably by the time we got there.
Donuts are good.
So you guys were like hanging out, like playing poker together or something? Like,
me and Jared used to live together, Yeah, we'd have poker parties every weekend. I would smoke everybody. I love playing poker. Yeah, we used to just, there'd be like 8 of us sitting around, like we'd take like, say one of these cabinets and like put it down in my bedroom, and everyone would sit around and use that as a table, and everyone would buy in. We used to play craps too. I had a craps table for a while. It was always fun. And just sit around drinking, listening to music, and playing cards.
What was, how did the three of them like kind of interact? What was their relationship like with each other?
It's like brothers. I mean, they
You should start with like Karp or...
Oh, right. Okay. Like, Karp would interact with each other like, I don't know, like brothers in the way that, you know, they'd either just be at each other's throat or like best friends, like, you know, acting like monkeys, you know, just like, you know, because they're just, yeah, like I, you know, said earlier, they're animated, you know, just, they put them, even if there's nobody to put a show on for, they're putting on a show. They've always been that way.
So
As long as I can remember, you know.
So after, so you guys recorded together the demo after the tours?
No,
Let's tell the story of the recording the demo.
I think the demo that came with Punk and My Vitamins came before their tours, because I think that the reason that because the original demo came with 2 songs, and that just came with the fanzine. But then I was selling so many of them, we decided to do like just a cassette only release, and that's how I started Punk and My Vitamins, like the record label, and I think that's what we used on the first tour, was just that 8-song cassette. And that was, I think we recorded that at the State Theater, you know, and just in one of the theaters.
And how was that? Like, what was that experience like?
That was awesome. I was a projectionist and an assistant manager at the State Theater, so we had after-hours access. So after all the movies were done, we'd go in the middle of the night, set everything up, and play music and do the recording stuff.
Jared was saying something about like they didn't ever have a tuner, so they were always like tuning to each other, but the notes that they were tuning to were constantly like dropping over time.
Oh yeah, I remember talking to them about their tuning. Like they kept tuning lower and lower, and it just got to where it just sounded like a mess, you know. And I was like, you should tune up a little bit. And, you know, I remember Jared telling me, like, it won't sound heavy enough if we tune up to E or whatever. So they tuned down to, like, B or something like that. And something, like, ridiculously low. Like, the bass strings would be flapping. It didn't sound heavy at all. It just sounded like a mess.
I have a question. Yeah. You should, you touched on how their relationship was, but that was obviously earlier on. It obviously started to change as time went on. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I don't know if I want to talk about that very much, because without, you know, talking about people's personal problems, you know, their relationships obviously did change because of personal problems, and, you know, people having trouble on tour, and, you know.
That was pretty big.
Thunder? No,
that was some sort of explosive.
That's Tumwater for you.
Nice.
But yeah, you know, I'd rather let them explain that themselves, you know, just because I mean, I saw it obviously from an outside point of view. Mm-hmm. You know, their relationships obviously were changing, and then they were just having a harder time, like, getting along or making the band function, you know.
Well, that was much later.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, so, I remember I wanted to put out a live Karp record on Punk and My Vitamins, and so I bought them a 4-track to take on tour so they could record their shows. And I don't even think they made it through the end of that tour. And I think they left the 4-track in Texas somewhere. I was so bummed. Not just to lose my 4-track, but to, you know, they didn't even record any of the shows. I think Jared got back and was like, yeah, it wasn't even worth it. So.
What tour was that?
I think it was their last tour.
So after Japan and
I believe so.
after self-titled,
I
whatever.
think so, yeah.
Okay. So let's see. So what about, what about Tumwater T-Birds? We should talk about that single. You helped record that with Tim, right?
Yeah, me and Tim recorded the Tumwater T-Birds 7-inch in the basement of the Red House in Olympia. That was like the first set of recording equipment that I bought. And Tim had some stuff, but I had an 8-track and a board that I bought from Pat Malley. And so we set it up in Tim's room and we used it to record that, which is the one that Justin has in his house.
Cool.
Well, we're staying tonight, so we should remember to film that.
That's true.
What haunted?
I think that Tim has that original 8-track tape. He must have it because I don't have it, and I pretty much have everything we've ever done.
Cool. Well, let's look at some of these things. You can just show them to the. You want to just look at them yourself, explain them,
just
and
like-
kind of show them to the camera.
Stuff that this is from one of their tours. I didn't go on the tour with them. Just old karp flyer from I don't know Juanita's in Chico, California. God, look at that picture. That was so bad. This is their tour itineraries, and I think this is the one that Ruben booked for him in '95. But I went on this tour with them, so. This is the cover for the 7-inch that I put out, the Tumwater T-Birds one.
You want to talk a little bit about the artwork with that thing?
Jared did this. This is basically just the Tumwater T-Birds logo, for the football team. And then we took the actual yearbook picture of the football team out of there and put our heads on different people. But Jared came up with that. I think Jared, I think later on Jared did most of their artwork. This is just the coaxial 7-inch. I don't know why I have this, but I have a 7-inch. I probably have it in there somewhere. This is from one of our art classes, a silk screening class that Scotty made me a silk screen of a cow smoking a pipe and wrote tobacco on it. That's when I was doing I was full on into smoking and, for a column in my fanzine called Nicoteenager. So, I don't know, we just did stupid crap like Dunkin' Donuts dollars for each other, try to cash them in at Dunkin' Donuts, and I guess it never worked. Definitely donuts were a big part of our high school experience. There's a picture of unwound that Scotty did on the computer. I don't know if you're gonna get a close up of that. That's a picture of Chris sitting on Santa Claus's lap, and he made Santa Claus wear his sunglasses.
Adorable.
Sorry. Oops.
You got y'all boarded up there?
If you,
Just
sorry.
have to ramp up just a second. I'm sorry, I don't mean to
No,
interrupt
it's
you or
all right.
bother you. I need to find a different pair of types for Lola. Those ones Lola sent are way too small.
see, if you're feeling better, you should come down here and tell Scotty stories.
Yeah, that'd be excellent.
Scotty stories,
Yeah.
like,
Can you
get out now!
Oh yeah.
Another one.
But you should tell that story.
It'd be excellent. We need more stuff about Scotty.
But you're doing, I have to get Lola ready to go.
It won't take a second to tell that story.
I don't remember exactly what the sign said.
So you told it yesterday or the day before. It was really good.
Oh, when I was unfolding the memory foam after it?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, is it still going?
Yes.
This is just another flyer. I used to have so many more flyers. I don't know whatever happened to them, but Bikini Killer and Karp. This is like right when they first started too, and it was in Portland at the X-Ray. That was a great show. All those shows were fun back then, like the basement shows. We would, just seemed like there was always a show going on. So you're either playing a show or you're going to a show, and everyone's just acting like idiots, having a good time. I have this Mustache is Wild promo thing from K. Just a picture of this ashtray that Unwound used for one of our 7-inches, the center artwork.
You have the actual ashtray, right?
It's still here. It hasn't been cleaned in a long time.
Is that it right there?
That's it, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I had to clean it up for that one. I think that was the centerpiece on our gravel.
You're not smoking right now. It'd be good to...
Oh, yeah.
Light it up, dude. Such an innate...
I don't even know if Scotty gave me that ashtray. He might have just got it for himself and brought it over to my house to show me, and then left it there, and then I just ended up having it. So, yeah, then there's this. This is the...
Yeah, that's the gym.
That's the 7-inch that I put out.
I got it lined up with... I can just...
Oh, no, that's fine.
Matter. Go ahead.
That's a 7-inch that I first put out. It wasn't their first 7-inch, but it was the first 7-inch that I put out. It was the first one out of the box with test pressings. I had to have it pruned.
What was the cover of that? Is that the electrocuted?
No, that's the T-Birds one.
Oh, that's right. That was your first one.
But yeah, that's other than tapes that I'd have to go through. That's kind of only stuff I found in my box. I thought I had more pictures actually.
Oh, you can drag it here.
That's professional, isn't it?
Where did you put her pile of clothes out?
Oh, it's on the other side of my bed, like next to the TV on the floor. Okay.
This is not tight enough. Can you... It's the bottom one actually that should be... Oh, slide it up and then, yeah, there you go.
I've been keeping those clothes in there because those are the ones that fit. Okay. It's kind of dusty. This is the first, promo photo that I think Ruben took a picture of. Them sitting outside of I don't know if you can get that very well. Sitting outside of what's now the Indian restaurant downtown Olympia. Used to be a place called Men's Market. Where all the street urchins would they would bum change stuff. So one of them, Jared's sitting there playing a guitar, Scott's acting like the big businessman, and Chris is over here bumming change from someone. So
We actually have another from that session.
Oh really?
In our possession. It's even funnier. Chris is bumming change off Scott, and Jared's in the background.
Oh, it's not in here.
Where is it?
That's a good question.
And then
Dude.
It's a problem.
one of our mutual friends had passed away. I think Scotty had already passed away at that point, but this friend of ours, Michael, we had a party for Michael one day before he passed away, and him and Scotty were really good friends, and I was really good friends with both of them. And so anyway, at Michael's funeral, his sister asked me to speak. So I spoke, and then they had this table, and I had these pictures of Michael, and one of them was with Scotty, and I was like, oh, I have to have that picture.
Oh.
So can you make me copies of this picture?
Can you hold that up a little?
And I asked Michael's sister if I could have a copy of this because I had a picture of him and Scotty, two of my best friends, and so she said she'd make me a copy, but then apparently she wasn't going to, so she just dropped it off at where I worked. The actual picture that was there. So
Wow.
that's my little shrine up there for, this is only Scotty stuff up there, but
We'll shoot that next. Alright, well, we got all the memorabilia. We get that shot with the ashtray, but that's talking about. I'll just wait for you to ash it.
okay.
It's called drama, dude. got it. Yes. You're gonna be a big star.
All right, so let's see.
Is there anything you feel like you should touch on? Anything about the Karp legacy that needs to be included that only could come from?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I feel like Jared has really really accomplished like more than he ever expected to, and I just admire him so much because I mean they grew up listening to Melvins, you know, and got pegged in that for a long time, and so I think it's cool that he's playing with the Melvins now, but but I also think it's really cool that, you know, after Scotty passed away, like, you know, it didn't stop him from being creative and the person that he was meant to be, you know. So he played with big business and the Whip, and, you know, I guess Scotty was in the Whip, but, you know, it didn't stop him, or it seems like it would have stopped a lot of people. So I was kind of admired him. I admired him for that, just because I thought, you know, that must have been a huge blow for him, you know. So to keep on playing was pretty admirable.
Yeah, what was that?
I mean, Karp's like impact on me personally was just, I mean, they're friends of mine. I mean, I loved watching them do something and watch them like grow from like being just really crappy, heavy band that didn't really seem to know what they were doing to, like, you know, writing one of the best records that I've ever listened to. You know, self-titled or whatever. But you know, nationally, I mean, I know that there's like people all over the place that love them, you know, but they didn't really tour enough to impact a ton of people, like personally, like in concert or at a show or whatever, you know. Locally, they had a huge impact because everyone in this town that was around at that time loves Karp. You know, loved him from the beginning even, but I don't know.
Yeah, describe.
I think the first show that Karp played, and I think the first show that they, like, the real show that they played was at the Surf Club in Olympia, and they only had like 6 songs or something, and they're like 2 minutes each, so they only played like for 20 minutes tops, without tuning. Jared put on like a cop outfit and like ran the stage. I don't even think he played bass on that song. This song called Dead Pig. He was like stomped around the stage. Dead pig, look at me. Dead pig, what do you see? I'm just saying. And you know, and they had the Fireball song, which like Scotty would just like start it, and it's like just so freaking loud. I think they stole that from like Tumwater High School somewhere. But yeah, I mean, the early shows were just crazy. And like, you know, obviously there wasn't all that many people there. It was just like standing there, like, you know, like didn't know what to think. But yeah, those were fun. The parties were even funner. It was the same thing, except in a smaller room, so people just got more into it.
What do you think the deal was with that band, like, as compared to like the other bands that were going on, like, in just the kind of, and especially like the whole girl thing that was going on?
Karp seemed to like fit into that scene just as well as like say Unwound did or whatever. I mean, everyone was always friends, so when we got into each other's music, you know. But I think they were always considered like the young ones, you know, like, oh, isn't that cute? You know. So it was nice to like watch them like grow into being like something that was like actually taken seriously, instead of, you know, like, oh, Karp's going to play, let's go, you know, see what happens this time. You know. Oh, isn't that cute? I mean, not that anyone really said that, but it, you know, that was just kind of the vibe that you got. Like,
How old were they when they started playing?
probably like 16 or 17, something like that.
Sweet. Should we film some of this shit before your friend gets here? This is all Scott memorabilia.
No, it's not all Scott memorabilia. It's just my kind of my
This is
little
memorabilia,
shrine for all kinds of old stuff.
Oh, okay. I thought that was all had to do with
Oh no,
Maybe that'd be a little unhealthy, you know.
no. There's Melvin stuff up there. There's stuff that I brought back from tour. There's, my dad's urn is up there. My 7 inches are up there.
Cool.
So what was the period of time like when Scotty passed away?
That was kind of when Scotty passed away. It was really weird because my dad was sick with cancer at the time, so I was having a really hard time anyway. And I was lying in bed, and I remember my girlfriend came in. I was sleeping, and she woke me up, and she was like, "Scotty passed away." And I was like, "Scotty who?" She's like, Scotty from Karp. And I was like, just like, what the fuck are you talking about? How? I mean, like, he's what, like 24 or something like that, or 25 at the time? 26 maybe? I don't know, but way too young to die. It's like, what happened? He was in a boat accident or something, and he was living in Seattle at the time, so it took me a while to figure out what was going on, but that was just like crazy. It was like wake or gathering that we had, like it was upstairs at K, like this big giant warehouse, and the place was packed. I mean, people came out from like San Francisco and from Oregon, from Seattle, all over the place. It was crazy. Like all of our parents were there, even because Scotty touched everybody. He didn't, not just like his friends or like people who listen to him play music. Like my mom loves him, like Jared's mom loves him, just like everyone's life he touched like just crazy good. It was just so much energy and so much fun to be around. I never really saw that guy in a bad mood, He's always laughing about something or showing you how he can beat the shit out of you in Street Fighter or whatever video game. Got this new video game. You should come over and let me kick your ass. So, it was a good vibe, but obviously very sad. So,
What were what kind of like were his interests or like kind of stuff that he was into? I mean, aside from music.
Scotty, besides playing music, I mean, he loved playing video games and listening to music. Other than that, that's all that's all I remember him being. I mean, he loved to draw, stuff like that, but didn't really ever seem like anything he pursued other than just like doodling. So
I think Ruben told me that he was like constantly eating like Snickers bars and drinking Mountain Dew or something.
Oh yeah, he did that too. AM PM food, eat corn dogs in the middle of the night.
Yeah, Ruben said something there like, this is like a couple months. He's like, I don't think he ingested anything, but Mountain Dew and Snickers bars.
That's probably true. He probably, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's all he ate was Snickers and Mountain Dew. I know he drank a lot of Mountain Dew.
You should talk about his drumming a little bit, because I mean, it's definitely like a unique style of fairly special, amazing style of drumming.
Sorry, can you pause that?
Yeah.
Scotty's drumming style is amazing. I mean, I think he learned how to play from, just being in school band or playing the snare. So, which would make sense because he's so good at playing the snare. But I think his style, just like all the Chris's and Jared's, like they kind of developed together. And I know, like at first, everyone knew how much they loved the Melvins. So obviously everyone was like, "Oh, the Melvins, God, just get over it." Everyone likes the Melvins. We don't need a Melvins band, and Melvins band in Olympia. But they definitely moved beyond that. And of course, you can hear that he was influenced by Dale. But that he was just such a great, like, just huge drummer. Just like hit really hard and obviously a lot of energy. I couldn't believe how long that guy could go and just not miss a beat.